Good morning, Gulf Breeze High School, and thank you for letting me into your rooms and interrupting your academic time to share some very important information with you. We're going to start, the information I'm going to share is about school safety, policy mandates, and updates, and then also student self-discipline. We're going to start with our school safety updates and policy changes. But first, I want to thank Ms. Reeves and her early morning crew, and specifically, I want to thank Skylar Jones, Liz Wilson, Cameron Stein, Luke Odom, Gabe Trossel, Liz Wines, Riley Richardson, and Simeon Dove for helping us produce this important message that I'm sharing with you this morning. So let me have your attention, and we'll get started. So the first thing I'm going to talk to you about has to do with school safety. And your teacher has this document right here, and or your teacher. So at some point you'll be shared with this, and if you have questions, we can certainly address that between you and your teacher. And the document that I'm showing you has some different terminologies than what we're used to using when we go into an emergency situation. In the past, and especially you seniors, I know y'all remember when we've had a bear sighting close to the school. We went into a lockdown. We didn't have another way to handle it. That's going to be handled a little bit different moving forward. We're actually going to call that a secure facility. So when you hear that, that means danger is not imminent, but it may be in the area. So that's a difference that we'll have to get used to. But that's a good difference. So secure facility, you don't have to worry about any danger coming your way immediately. We'll also use shelter in place instead of our tornado locking down for a tornado or a tornado drill. We'll call it shelter in place. It can be used for other things, but primarily it's going to be for our use due to bad weather. So that our next tornado, we'll practice that in February. And then last is lockdown. Lockdown, there's not going to be any doubt about it. If we go into a lockdown, it is serious. You'll hear lockdown, lockdown, lockdown. You won't hear anything else. No codes, no numbers, no colors, but the words lockdown. And again, we're going to go over this and practice this as we move forward with these new mandates by the county. And that's why I'm sharing with this information with you this morning. This information will also be shared with your parents in the upcoming days via online, whether it's our school website or it's going to be through call-outs. We'll make sure that we provide that information to them. So thank you for letting me share that. So a little bit of different terminologies. When we talk about lockdown, it's the worst case scenario. So when you hear that, it's no time to play. You find a secure place to get into. Teachers will be helping in a lockdown get you in their rooms, and they'll lock the doors as quickly as they possibly can without excluding anybody in their near vicinity. They will grab anybody. It doesn't matter what class you're in or where you're headed. You go to the nearest room and you get into that room as quickly as you can so the teacher can lock you down. And when you're in that room, the teachers are going to go over another type of terminology you may not be used to hearing, and that's called a hard corner. A hard corner simply means getting to the space in your room that's away from the trouble. And so your teachers will go over that individually, and you can ask each teacher in each room. Every room's a little bit different, but we want you to find out where those areas are in each of your rooms so that when the call comes, God forbid, that we're in a lockdown because of this situation, that you at least know the area where you can go to very quickly, and there's no second thoughts. It happens immediately. Each room, again, is a little bit different. We will practice our lockdowns when we practice every one of our fire drills. So in the past, especially the seniors, you've heard it 4 times here, we practice it once a year, maybe twice if we were pressed into it. I know last year we did. Due to the Parkland issue. And that's the reason we're having some of these changes. But we are going to practice our lockdown every single fire drill, starting, we think, this week. It's either this week or next week. We have our next one scheduled. So what you'll do during a fire drill is that when the alarm goes off, you will freeze in the classroom. You will stay there for 180 seconds, 3 minutes. Okay? This is county mandate. Then you will go to your hard corner. We're practicing that during every fire drill. So that if you hear that lockdown, 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 you know to go to that hard corner, whether when we say lockdown, the fire alarm is sounding or not. And the reason we're practicing this during a fire alarm drill is because of what happened in Parkland and the alarm going off there and people evacuating. We will evacuate our building after each one of our fire drills. After that 180 seconds, that 3 minutes, we will come on the intercom and let you know to engage in the fire drill evacuation. Now, we are going to try it with our alarm. The first time we do this, we'll try it with the alarm sounding the entire 3 minutes. It might be difficult, but some of the schools do it, some don't. So we're going to try it that way. We have a really, really loud fire alarm, and so this first alarm is going to be the first session, the practice session that we have. Will determine whether or not we move forward while keeping the fire alarm going the entire length of the time of our lockdown practice or not. So that's to come, and so be ready for that. So again, when you hear the fire alarm, if it went off right now, we would go to our rooms, we would go to those hard corners, practice that lockdown, and then exit the building when told to practice our evacuation for fire drill, okay? And now, that concludes the segment on school safety, our policy updates and mandates. And now I'm going to talk to you something that's near and dear to me, and it's about student self-discipline. I don't go on script, and those students that know me, you know that. And but today I'm going to stick to a script, so out of respect for you and your academic time. So here we go. First, I want to thank you for your attention this morning, and hopefully every classroom is quiet and you're paying attention, and I want to thank you for that. Students, there's been too many instances lately of blatant disregard for the following rules: cheating, vaping, fighting, cell phone misuse, hateful and hurtful social media comments against classmates. So I'm going to go over each one of those items and add a couple more at the end, and then you'll get the feeling for what we're talking about here. Cheating. Recently, it was brought to our attention, and we've had physical evidence to see it. It was not something that made me feel good as a principal, and so you have to resist cheating. There's different pressures and different reasons why kids do it, but there's none good. You just need to let it go. If you didn't study, you're going to have to deal with the grade that you get and deal with the punishment that you get for having that grade with your loved ones. So moving forward with cheating, you may notice a teacher conducting business a little bit different in the classroom. If there hasn't been an issue, you may not. But we're well aware that social media shares of documents, tests, homework assignments, and that type thing goes on. I've seen it with my own eyes, and it's something that needs to quit. Teachers will be conducting business a little bit differently, so they may do tests a little differently. They may have assignments that are assigned a little bit differently, and you're gonna have to deal with it. Vaping. You'll notice an increased canine presence on campus to combat that and other drug use. That will happen immediately. Fighting. We're gonna meet fighting head on with swift removal from school. That means where it's applicable, you'll be alternatively placed if you are involved in a fight. Cell phone misuse. Teachers will collect all devices at the beginning of the period, just as they've done this morning, and allow use only when they the teacher deems necessary for class assignments. Social media, the spreading of hateful and hurtful information, will be punished severely whenever possible. Additionally, earbuds, hats, and parking. Excuse me, that's earbuds and AirPods, hats, and parking. Earbuds and AirPods. You have two ears, and you have two pieces to the equipment, whether it's the AirPods or the earbuds. You're only allowed one. And you're only allowed one in between classes and in the lunchroom. You don't need any in the classroom. You hit the classroom, they come out of your ears, you turn off your devices, you turn in your cell phone, and we get ready to learn the lesson of the day. Hats, there's no reason for hats, and we're required, we will enforce this vigorously because of identification. You've already noticed the front, maybe you haven't. We have a hardening, which we're required from the county and state mandated to harden our school for safety. Shortly, the doors will remain locked all day long, and we'll have even more, you'll have to pass through a push-in area at the front of the school and identify yourself with some form of ID. So that's to come, more information. But with hats, we have to be able, because of the tightened security, be able to identify folks. Now, for religious reasons, no problem. That certainly you may wear what you need to when you practice your religion. And then also cold weather, we get it. Today was extremely cold. So if you wore a hat, a cold weather hat, and you wear it in the building for a short period of time, and oh, I forgot, that's not a problem. We're talking about habitual wearing of primarily baseball caps, and that's going to end. It's easy. Leave it in your car. Leave them in your backpack. Put them in your locker. There's no reason to have one. If you didn't do something for your hair that morning, that's on you. Take care of that before you leave the house. Parking, decals must be in your windshield. Okay? If you have a windshield change, which can happen and does happen, you must buy another decal. If you change vehicles, you're lucky enough to have another vehicle that your parents or guardians allow you to use, you must have a decal. Yes, it's $10. Yes, it's a little bit of inconvenience, but we have to have it for security reasons. So no matter where you're parking, make sure you have the proper decal. Also, all golf carts and LSVs, and that's low-speed vehicles, are not allowed anywhere on campus, including baseball and softball fields, the stadium, and the field house. And that's even to contests. We're not allowing them. And then finally, I want to speak to you about being good citizens at school, at home, and in the public, our wonderful community around us. Part of being a good student is doing your part to contribute to the good of the environment, of your environment. Your behavior falls solely on you. Your attitude about the day falls solely on your shoulders. The decision to treat others with respect, regardless of what they look like, where they come from, their size, their shape, or what middle school they attended, is solely yours each and every day. You can never go wrong with being kind. Make good decisions when it comes to academics, socially, and civically, and I want you to become the difference maker that I know you can be. And then lastly, I just want to thank you and for listening today. I want to thank the crew for producing this segment, and I know you're going to do the right thing and listen to what's been said this morning and make those changes in your life and your lives as needed. And again, thank you for being the student body that you are. I love being your principal, and we'll see you around the halls and hope you enjoy the rest of your day.